Welcome to tonight's video on Unit 9. We'll start out by doing some basic probability. And the first thing that we're going to do is take a set of numbers and we're going to find some statistics based on those set of numbers. So the first thing you want to do with any of these numbers is you want to order them from least to greatest. So for example, here it's 2, 3, 4, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 15, 16, 16, 18, and 20. So all in all, if you add it up, we have 20 terms. To find the mean, that's like finding the average. You add them all up, which is 199, and divide it by 20, and you get 9.95. The median, you take the middle term. Basically, median means middle term. Well, since there's an even number of terms, there's 20, the middle term will be the average of the two in the middle. So for example, you know how like if we're talking about quartiles, like 0.25 times 20 is 4, right? So if you look, or sorry, 0.25 times 20 is 5, not 4. So if you look, here's the first quarter, here's the second quarter, here's the third quarter, and then the fourth. So the median would be the average of the two in the middle, between the second and third quarter. So here the median would be 8 plus 9 divided by 2, which is 8.5. That is the median. The mode is the one that occurs the most often. And in this case, notice the number 7 occurs the most often. So quartile 1, you're looking for the top value in the first quarter. So the top value in the first quarter, here's quartile 1. This is Q1. The first top value is 7. In quartile 2 is the same as the median. So the quartile 2 is 8.5. Because that value would be right in the middle. That would be bigger than the top 50%. Quartile 3, you're looking for the value that is bigger than or as big as 75%. So if you go 0.75 times 20, you're looking at the 15th value. So the 15th value in this case is 13, because this is value number 13. So therefore, in quartile 3, the top value is 13. So doing the same thing for number 2, first you want to list all the numbers. So I listed all the numbers in order from least to greatest. So if you look at the mean, you add them all up and divide by 24, because there's 24 numbers. So you get 231 divided by 24, which is 9.625. Then for the median, if you look in the middle, if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, So the middle would be right there between 12 and 13. So you add those two terms, 7 plus 8 divided by 2, and it gives you 7.5. And then for the mode, which one occurs the most? And that would be the number 5 occurs 6 times. For quartile 1, because we're talking about 24 terms, so that means you talk about the first 6. And the quartile 1 is 5. Quartile 2 is the median, so it's 7.5. And then quartile 3, because notice you go 3, 6. And then if you go quartile 3, 3, 6, right there, the top of quartile 3 is 12. Because it would be the 18th value, and the 18th value is here at 12. All right, the next, we're going to talk about an arithmetic sequence. And an arithmetic sequence is a sequence that has a common difference, that you add one term to the next. So, for example, 26, 30, 34, 38 is an arithmetic sequence because you're adding 4 to go from one term to the next. The first term in the sequence is 26. We are trying to find the 38th term, so n is 38. And we're trying to find the 38th term. So the 38th term is equal to the first term plus 38 minus 1 times the difference, which is 4. So 26 plus 37 times 4. And that gives you 174. That means the 38th term of that sequence is 174. So if I want to find the 40th term of this sequence, the first term is 16. The common difference now is minus 3 because you're subtracting 3 to go from one term to the next. And you're finding the 40th term, so n is 40. So a sub 40 is equal to 16 plus 40 minus 1 times negative 3. So 16 plus 39 times negative 3. And you get negative 101. So let's try the next two. So here, to go from one term to the next, you're going to add 200. The first term is 1, and n is 36. So we go 1 plus 36 minus 1 times 200. And you get that the 36th term is 7,001. Here, n is 25. The difference is 2. The first term is 2. So it is 2 plus 25 minus 1 times 2. So you have 2 plus 24 times 2, which is 50. Actually, if you look at this, sorry, let's go back. And look at this, the difference here is 2, but then the difference here is 8. So actually, this is not arithmetic. Sequence. So therefore, you would not be able to use the formula to find the 25th term. However, this is a geometric sequence because you can multiply. Actually, is not geometric. So basically, you won't be able to find the next term. However, there are other types of sequences besides arithmetic. There is what's called a geometric sequence. And a geometric sequence is when you multiply to go to term. So here you're multiplying by 2. So that number that you multiply by is what's called the common ratio. So here r is equal to 2. The first term is 4. And you are trying to find the 11th term. So to find the 11th term, you go 4 times 2 to the 11 minus 1 power. So 4 times 2 to the 10th, and that'll give you, and you get 4,096 as the 11th term. So to find the 10th term here, notice to go from term to term, you're multiplying by -2, and n is 10, and the first term is 40. So you go a sub 10 is equal to 40 times -2 to the 10 minus 1 power. So 40 times -2 to the 9th. And when you stick that in your calculator, you get -20,480. That is the 10th term. So let's look at the next ones. So for example here, you're going to multiply by 1/2, because this is half of that. So the n is 11, and the first term is -128. So the 11th term is -128 times 1/2 to the 11 minus 1. So it's -128 times 1/2 to the 10th. And then we stick that in our calculator and we get, and when you multiply, you get -1/8. Or some of you might get the decimal as -0.125. To find the 12th term here, well, notice you're multiplying by 1 here, and then you're multiplying by something else there. So this one is not geometric, which means you can't find the 12th term. All right, the next thing is summation notation. The number at the bottom tells you the first number to put in. The number at the top tells you the last number to put in. And then this sigma notation means sum. So basically you start with the bottom number, which is 3. So you go the absolute value of 5 minus 3 plus the absolute value of 5 minus 4 plus the absolute value of 5 minus 5 plus absolute value of 5 minus 6 plus absolute value of 5 minus 7 plus absolute value of 5 minus 8. So you're going to add those all up. So you have 2 plus 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3. So 3 plus 0, 4, 6, 9. So the sum is equal to 9. And that's what you're doing. You're just substituting all the numbers starting with 3 up to 8 into that equation and adding the answers together. So here we're going to start with 1. So we go -1 to the second power, because 1 plus 1, plus -2 to the third power, plus -3 to the fourth power, plus -4 to the fifth power. -1 squared is 1. -2 cubed is -8. -3 to the fourth is +81. and 4 to the 5th is negative 1,024. So when I add those all up, you get negative 7 plus 81, which is 74, plus negative 1,024. And that gives you 1,000. Sorry, that gives you 950 as your final answer. All right, so that concludes our video on probability and summation notation and statistics. So next we'll do some other probability stuff in the next video. Have a good evening.